She can't shoot hard, can't yell loud, can't handle heavy work. Definitely picked the wrong career. A cadet laughed loudly, pointing at Mia, who was quietly loading ammunition with her head down. That tactical assessment day had an unexpected visitor, a high-ranking general. He walked past, saw Mia's dog tag fall to the ground. He bent down to pick it up and froze. These numbers, who carved them? His fist clenched as he turned around. Who dared call her soft? Redstone Training Center, where they forged frontline support for Special Operations Forces. Mia Dawson, 28 years old. Blonde hair pulled back neat, slim build, kind face, soft-spoken voice. During physical training, she always finished last, rarely shouted commands. Kept to herself mostly. Many cadets made comments. She looks like a nursing student who got lost and wandered into our formation. Should have sent her to the medical corps instead. Despite her precise first aid techniques and steady hands under pressure, Mia never showed off, never asked for extra opportunities, never demanded recognition. During breaks, she'd sit alone, cleaning her gear and checking her medical supplies. Nobody paid attention to the old silver dog tag with its worn chain, or the strange hand-carved numbers on the back. The training commander once asked her, "Have you ever been deployed before?" Mia simply answered, "Yes, sir," but it wasn't on the official record. Her bunkmates whispered about her at night, how she never complained during the hardest exercises, how she treated injuries with unusual expertise, how she seemed to know things that weren't taught in basic training. But they wrote it off as beginner's luck, or maybe some EMT experience from civilian life. What bothered them most was how she never fought back against their comments, never defended herself, never tried to prove she belonged. She just absorbed every insult, every dismissive look, every eye roll when she was assigned to their squad. The other cadets started calling her Ghost, not because she was stealthy, but because she seemed to drift through training like she wasn't really there. During combat scenarios, she'd patch up wounded teammates with mechanical precision, but never celebrated successful missions or mourned failed ones. It was like she was going through the motions, waiting for something. The instructors noted her strange detachment in their reports. Technically proficient but emotionally disconnected. Recommend psychological evaluation before deployment. What they didn't understand was that Mia wasn't disconnected. She was protecting herself and them from a truth that would change everything. CTA Comment Act 1. Have you ever seen good people treated badly? Type, so unfair. The comprehensive tactical assessment day arrived with an unexpected visitor. General Monroe, Joint Forces Eastern Command. Mia was assigned to the final group, handling rear support duties. Nobody cared about the quiet blonde girl with the medical kit. While treating a cadet simulating battlefield injuries, her dog tag slipped from under her uniform and fell to the dirt. General Monroe was walking past the exercise area when sunlight reflected off the metal, catching his attention. He stopped, bent down to pick it up and examined it closely. His face went pale. He read the hand-carved numbers aloud, 0119B, Echo Point, 1722. His voice dropped to a whisper. Who carved these numbers? The training ground went silent. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Mia stood up slowly. I did, sir. General Monroe's hands were shaking slightly. You were at Echo Point? She nodded once. The entire field froze. He looked directly at the lead instructor. That operation only had 3 survivors, and one of them was the daughter of the medic who died shielding others from enemy fire. A male cadet gasped. I've heard stories about that mission, but I thought the whole team was listed as missing in action. General Monroe kept staring at the dog tag. The official report was classified. Too many good people died. Too many families needed to believe their sons and daughters were heroes, not casualties of a failed intelligence operation. He looked up at Mia. How old were you? 23, sir. Jesus Christ. He ran his hand through his gray hair. You were barely out of advanced training. The lead instructor stepped forward, confusion clear on his face. Sir, her file shows standard medical training, no combat deployments, no special operations background. General Monroe's voice hardened. Because Echo Point was black ops, deep insertion behind enemy lines. Medical support for assets that officially didn't exist. He held up the dog tag. These numbers represent grid coordinates where 17 soldiers died, the date when everything went wrong, and the mission designation that was supposed to be erased from history. A female cadet who had mocked Mia earlier whispered, "We've been making fun of someone who saved lives while we were still in college." The general nodded grimly. When I reached the evacuation point, the medical station had been hit by mortar fire, but I was pulled from the wreckage by a young woman who refused to leave until everyone who could be saved was saved. His voice broke slightly. I only remember her hands, steady as steel while everything around us was falling apart. And these numbers, carved into her medical kit so she'd never forget what it cost. CTA comment, Act 2. If you've ever badly misjudged someone, type, I was wrong. General Monroe stepped closer to Mia, his voice heavy with emotion. When I arrived at the extraction point, the support station was destroyed, but I was pulled from the rubble by a young medic who refused to abandon her post. He held out the dog tag with trembling hands. I only remember her steady hands and these numbers etched on her medical kit. His eyes never left hers. You're the one who saved me. Mia nodded quietly. The entire training ground fell dead silent. General Monroe came to attention and rendered a perfect military salute. Then he turned to face the training commander. From today forward, these cadets will study Operation 0119B as part of their curriculum, and the instructor for the medical support section will be Mia Dawson. The female cadet who had laughed at her earlier stepped forward, tears in her eyes. I made fun of you. I'm so sorry. Mia's response was gentle but firm. I'm not here for apologies. I'm here to make sure you can save the right people when it's your turn. The training commander was frantically pulling up classified databases on his tablet. Ma'am, I need to understand. Why isn't any of this in your standard file? General Monroe answered for her. Because Echo Point was compartmentalized beyond normal clearance levels. The families of the KIA deserve to believe their children died as heroes, not casualties of an intelligence failure. He looked around at the assembled cadets. What you need to understand is that Mia Dawson spent 72 hours behind enemy lines, treating wounded soldiers while under constant fire. She performed field surgery in a bombed-out building. She carried wounded men twice her size to safety. His voice grew stronger. And when the extraction went wrong, when the helicopters were shot down, when everything fell apart, she stayed. She kept working. She kept saving lives until the very last moment. A male cadet raised his hand hesitantly. Sir, how many people did she save? 11 confirmed, including myself. The numbers hit like a physical blow. 11 lives. 11 families who got to welcome someone home because of the quiet girl they'd been calling soft. Mia finally spoke, her voice calm and professional. The numbers on my tag aren't for glory. They're coordinates where good people died, the date when everything went wrong, and the mission code that reminds me why I do this job. She looked around at her fellow cadets. I don't need you to think I'm tough. I don't need you to respect me because of what happened. I need you to be better than I was, smarter than I was, more prepared than I was. Her voice carried the weight of experience. Because someday, you'll be the one making impossible decisions. You'll be the one choosing who lives and who dies. And on that day, it won't matter how loud you can yell or how much weight you can lift. The training ground was so quiet you could hear the wind. It'll only matter whether you can stay calm when everything is falling apart, whether you can make the right choice when there are no good choices left. General Monroe nodded with deep respect. Ladies and gentlemen, meet your new standard for excellence. CTA Comment Act 3. If someone ever helped you and you never got to thank them, write, I owe them. After that day, Mia didn't change her routine, still walked alone, still cleaned her medical kit every evening, still spoke softly and avoided attention. But every time she entered the training ground, everyone saluted first. A photo of her dog tag, with the hand-carved numbers 0119B, was mounted in the main medical training facility. Not everyone who speaks loudly is worth listening to. Some heroes carry old dog tags and memories nobody knows about. 1 month later, Mia was selected to lead a new medical support team heading to active deployment. She carried only one note in her personal journal. Being gentle isn't the same as being weak. It's how I choose not to become what once hurt me. The night before deployment, she gathered her new team around her. I won't lie to you about what we might face out there. People will die. Good people. People you care about. Her voice was steady, but her eyes held depths of experience. Your job isn't to save everyone. Your job is to make sure that when someone can be saved, you don't hesitate. You don't freeze. You don't give up. She touched her dog tag through her uniform. These numbers remind me that every life we save matters, not because of glory or recognition, but because somewhere someone is waiting for them to come home. A young medic raised her hand. Ma'am, how do you stay so calm? Mia smiled sadly. Because panic never saved anyone. Anger never healed anyone. Fear never brought anyone home. She looked at each of them. Strength isn't about being loud or tough or fearless. Real strength is being gentle in a world that's trying to make you hard. Staying kind when everything around you is cruel. The team deployed the next morning. 6 months later, they all came home. Every single one. CTA Comment Act 4. Type, I'll live with honor. If you believe every good person deserves to be remembered forever. Mia Dawson was called soft. She didn't argue back, didn't defend herself, didn't demand recognition. But when her dog tag fell to the ground, an entire base learned she had once saved lives without ever asking for a medal. Some people carry battlefields in their hearts, but never brag about it. And sometimes, hand-carved numbers weigh more than any rank or ribbon. Don't be quick to call someone weak just because they don't match your definition of strength. True strength whispers. It doesn't need to shout. True courage is gentle. It doesn't need to be loud. True heroes often look nothing like what we expect. They're the quiet ones, the ones who do their job without fanfare, the ones who save lives and never ask for credit, the ones who carry old dog tags and memories that would break most people. Remember that the next time you meet someone who seems too soft for the real world, they might just be the person who'll save your life someday, and you'll never know it until you need them most.